Hey everyone, this is Blackhawk SC, and welcome back to this channel. Well, I know it's been a while since my last video, but things have been kind of busy. Well, anyways, in this video I'm going to talk about the Arctic Wolf, which came out in the Civil War Escalation mech pack just a couple of days ago. Although I usually favor playing heavies and assaults, I found that the Arctic Wolf is probably the most interesting of all the chassis that came out in the mech pack, and I'll explain why. The ACW is the first clan mech between the 40 and 45 ton weight range that isn't over-engined to some degree. The Viper, Ice Ferret, and to a lesser degree the Shadowcat all have huge engines or heavy fixed equipment that limits the amount of weaponry you can take. The Arctic Wolf Omnimechs just have an XL240, which keeps it above 100 kph after all speed tweak nodes, while allowing it to carry a weapon payload that you'd expect from a medium mech. The battle mech variants can go all the way up to an XL365, so you won't be limited by speed there either. It also has the number and type of hardpoints necessary to make use of the free tonnage. Both the battle mech and omni mech variants can boat missiles or energy weapons, which are the bread and butter of light and small medium mech builds. In fact, both the non-hero battle mech and the omni variants can carry 5 or more missile weapons, which is more than any other clan mech in the 40 to 45 ton weight range. The major downside of the Arctic Wolf is that except for the ACW-1 variant, the missile builds are dependent on having arm-mounted weapons. Now if you look at the side profile, these arms are quite massive, and without much structure bonuses, they do fall off pretty easily. So when you're in a brawl, arm shielding isn't that practical on most ACW variants. The energy builds won't be as affected by this issue, but it still is a problem. Now looking at the frontal profile, the STs are pretty easy to isolate as well. So basically no matter if you're facing or twisting away from enemy return fire, the damage is going to be concentrated on some component, which will knock out at least some weapons. I learned pretty quickly that to mitigate this problem, you pretty much have to make sure that you don't get shot back. This means picking smart attack angles and trying to predict when you're going to be rushed by an enemy and get out ahead of time. Now I'm going to go over a few build archetypes, and we'll start with the laser boats. Here you can have a couple of variations using the P Omnipods. What you're seeing right now is the laser vomit version. And here's the MPL version. I like the MPL version a little bit more because it runs a little cooler and plays more towards the hit and run style that the lights and mediums should be doing. With the laser vomit build, the burn duration gives enemies time to aim and shoot back. And being as fragile as it is, the Arctic Wolf isn't built to take trades against larger enemies at mid-range. I won't do a full demo of these builds because although they're effective, they're just less interesting to watch than SRM brawling. Quickly going over the MPL Boats skill tree, I'm doing full speed tweak, some nodes for cool run and heat containment, lots of survivability, and lots of heat gen nodes. The SRM builds are where I think the Arctic Wolf makes its mark on the game. As I mentioned, the ACW-1 can carry up to 9 missile weapons, but I'd limit it to 8 SRM-4s because firing 5 and 4 would trigger Ghost Heat. I can only show this on Smurfy right now since I don't have the 1 variant, and Smurfy's has a bug at the moment where I can't change the armor type to Pharaoh. With Pharaoh on, you can use up to an XL300 engine. This build can do really well for those who can pick the right attack angles and time their approach as well. But probably for the majority of players out there, the ECM version will work better. There are 2 versions of the ECM SRM boat, one with 5 SRM6s as you see here, and one with 4 SRM6s and JJs, which you can get by replacing the left torso Omnipod with the Prime Omnipod. The JJs give you options like being able to pop-tart SRM and to get away from bad situations more easily. For skills, I'm unlocking all ECM and seismic nodes, unlock some heat containment and cool run, get full speed tweak, unlock most of the durability nodes, and get missile rack, spread, cooldown, and heat gen nodes from the left side of the firepower tree. One final word on the hero variant, the Blood Kit. I know PGI is trying to bring some more variety to the chassis by giving the hero ballistics, but a 40-tonner simply can't use ballistics very effectively, unless they can boat MGs. The Blood Kit also has 4 energy hardpoints and a rather useless single missile hardpoint. But if we were going to go for a pure energy boat and skipping ballistics, you'd rather do it on the Omnipod variants. For the BK, I'm currently running this 4 ERML and single Ultra 10 build, which is okay, but neither unique nor impressive. Another alternative is 4 ERML and a single Gauss, but you'd have to go down to a pretty small engine in order to run it. Okay, for the gameplay demo, I'll be showing the ECM5 SRM6 build without jump jets. Now let's get into it.
New target acquired.
In this match we're on River City. River City can be a good brawl map for lights if the battle takes place, does not take place solely around the Citadel area. So if it takes place around the city areas, then you got a lot of chance to sneak up behind people and fire your SRMs. But right now, most of the action is focused around the Citadel, so we have to be pretty careful. There's a lot of open ground and a lot of mid-range firing lanes that's open to the enemy, so we don't want to get super close right now. We're looking for just these kind of opportunities for people poking inside that alleyway in the middle of the Citadel. That's close range enough for us to fire. So if they poke through that alley, or they come up towards our side of the Citadel, then we can get some shots on. But we have to be super careful, as I mentioned. You can't just rush up full on and expect to survive. So here we have an Ebonjag on top of the Citadel here, and we can get some shots on him. You can also see that the spread on the SRM6s, even with Artemis, is pretty wide. So some of those shots were wasting missiles, but it's okay. We have missiles to spare at this moment. So these are the kind of opportunities you can look for when you're not in a full-on brawl right now. We're kind of just simply skirmishing, or just playing kind of like the SRM striker role and getting some support shots in, letting the others take damage right now because you don't want to be taking damage in these situations. So the match is getting closer to the city areas. So we're gonna go and see what we can do inside the buildings there. You see the spread on the SRMs are quite large. Even with the Cherry CT on that Marauder, we still weren't able to kill him with a salvo. But with the SRM6s, you have to get really close to get concentrated damage. And so I prefer not to spend too much time at shots around, like 200 meters or like even 150. So you really want to get under 100 meters in order to get a good damage. That's a whiff on a full SRM salvo. I thought he was going to turn the other way, but that didn't happen. See, the Zeus right now is an excellent target. It's mostly an LRM boat, just has 2 ERMEDs to kind of back up his LRMs. So he needs to run away, and so we're going to take advantage. Just don't want to get shot in the back here. Yeah, you don't want to be an LRM boat in that situation. So we're pretty much very ahead right now. As I mentioned, I don't want to shoot at that range. I'd much rather get closer before taking a shot.
Target destroyed. Heat level critical. Target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired.
Here's a situation where the jump jets can come in really handy, but we don't have jump jets in this version. So it's a good, fun, short match, and we did okay overall. Made good contributions to the team. Okay guys, I know the builds I mentioned here don't cover everything, so if you have good suggestions, do leave them in the comments below. A special thanks to the viewer who donated this mech pack, and for all the viewers out there who have been supporting this channel for the past couple of years. Hope to see you soon, and bye for now.